Do you sometimes have memories that feel unpleasant to you, or that are keeping your mind busy thinking about them or talking about them too often, or even some situations that you feel concerned about for upcoming events? All of these memories or situations are a bit like stuck in your memory or your energy field, and they are very energy consuming. It's a loss of energy that you are suffering from at all times, but this is not a fatality. You can recover from this and you can regain your energy and get your energy back from these memories, or stop worrying about upcoming events, especially when it's based on a past situation. And I would like there to share with you a very specific technique of energetic memory reharmonization that will help you recirculate the corresponding energy and be able to recover your full potential in the present.
The following is a presentation of the Aline Chronicle. Please find autopics at www.aline.com.
Hello and welcome. I'm very happy to share with you today a specific technique of energetic memory reharmonization to help you recover from past events or situations that are keeping some of your energy stuck, so that you can regain your full potential in the present. The heart has its reasons, and you've probably heard already that it only takes an instant to make an impression. But now you are ready to go a step further and hear about the fact that the heart actually perceives information even before your eyes can see it or your brain can interpret it based on information transmitted by your eyes. So if the heart can perceive even before you can see anything, this is something very interesting that has been demonstrated by some research done by a laboratory in California called HeartMath already since the 70s, of last century. And so this is absolutely interesting, and you may find some of their results in the DVD The Living Matrix, a film on the new science of healing. That is a very interesting one about all of these energy discoveries. So in fact your heart has the ability to perceive even before your other senses, and this is kind of the feeling, the intuition that you may have without being able to explain it. Of course we can't explain it because we haven't seen it, we haven't seen anything yet, but we already perceive something. That's it. So I want today to share with you a very specific technique of energetic memory reharmonization that will help you, because you now more than ever need all of your energy to cope with today's day-to-day life and various situations that you may encounter. And now more than ever you need all your energy and potential to move forward. So there are a few reasons why you should use this technique. Reason number one, having tensed the moment. Imagine, for example, that a couple of parents are having a walk with friends and their two children. And then suddenly, at some point, while the parents are chatting calmly and the kids are further away playing close to the river, the youngest just yells very loudly. Instantly, the mom stiffens and the dad jumps ready to go if anything has to be done. But then they just realize, turning their head, that the young boy is just fine. He was just playing with his brother. So basically, the dad will just relax and feel better instantly. But what about the mom? If she is not used to breathe in and breathe out and relax in this realization that everything is okay, she has just tensed a part of her energy and she just increased her stress level. If she doesn't release the stress of that situation where the emergency was not necessary, then she keeps that energy stuck there and tense and stiffened. Okay? So from the moment you tensed up on an event, a thought, or anything, you stretch out some of your energy to deal with the situation, like the mom, if she had to cope with any emergency for her son. And that part of your energy is then frozen, stuck, and monopolized for that situation. If you can't release it, then you can't reuse it for anything else, because it's stuck there in the memory of that particular situation. So another example, imagine you are cooking with a friend and then suddenly a knife escapes you, and you can watch the knife fly over and fall down. You are very scared of taking the knife on your foot or on the hand of your partner, for example. And fortunately, everything is fine. Everybody is fine. The knife falls down close to your foot, but not on your foot, so you are fine, okay? What about your stress and your tension facing this moment? If you don't release it, then you keep it stuck, and that's a part of your energy that is stuck there if you do not release it. Another example is for your mobile phone. If you are just managing your smartphone with one hand while you are carrying a bag on the other hand, at some point you escape your smartphone, okay, and you feel horrified at the very idea of exploding your smartphone on the ground, okay, but then for some reason you manage to receive it with your foot, or even if the phone explodes, actually, how do you release that stress intensity? How do you cope with your energy after such an intense moment where you could almost see your smartphone falling down in a slow motion, okay? Why do you think there is a slow motion impression? It's because you have so much of your attention in the instant for every image of the instant that it behaves exactly like the slow motion in a movie. So, do you have the reflex to relax and refocus yourself after every moment of such intensity in our daily life? Do you? If you happen to keep an unpleasant feeling about anything that has happened to you during your day, your week, or in the past years, or whenever in your life, then it means that your energy field has been altered in some way by the situation and has not returned to its perfect balance. In that case, you've lost some of your energy that is now stuck or kept in alteration based on those situations and past events, or even maybe about what is preoccupying you. Reason number 2. If you talk about it more than once. I was surprised when I once heard someone say that if you talk about it more than once, it's already too much. I thought it was a bit radical, but actually she was right, because if you talk about it more than once because there is something negative inside, then it means there is something negative inside, okay? If this is not the best memory of your life that you just enjoy so much talking about, then it means there is something that is unclear to you. And if you keep talking about it, that's kind of your energy that is stuck in the memory, that is trying to get your attention, that is trying to get back to you, to get back in balance. And so through talking about it, you are trying to do that, but if you are not aware of that, you probably miss the point and you just keep talking about it in a loop, which is not the ideal result, actually, because you are then just stuck in a loop. Then reason number 3 is when you refuse to talk about it. It's also often a sign that something is stuck there, something is not clear. If you are refusing completely to talk about something, you're probably not in harmony with the particular memory, because if you were in harmony with it, in perfect peace and love with it, you wouldn't care about talking about it or not. you know, you could maybe not dwell into the subject in detail if you don't want to, but you wouldn't care about talking about it. That's very interesting to identify. And then you need to know a few things about energy, harmony, and memory. Why do you need to know that? Just because it's part of our daily life and it's part of the future for humanity. Now it's no more new age, it's even old age. It's coming from the 70s or even before. I mean, some of you weren't even born when we already started to understand all of this. And there are even some books that have been written 200 years ago or 2000 years ago that were already talking about this. So it's not new thinking. It's basic things about the way we work and the way we can be alive, healthy, and in perfect harmony, balance, and feeling good and having a happy, successful life. So there are a few things that I explained in detail in the first parts of this particular series. Here you are listening to the fourth part, but there are 3 other parts that are very important for you to understand the principle of harmony, how to maximize your energy, how to be conscious about who you are and how you want to vibrate in your own life. So as to build your life and to build the content of your experience and to take care of your immunity as well, to feel good and being healthy. So are you in complete harmony with yourself? That's a key question, and probably not. I mean, are you at peace with every single moment of your life? If so, frankly, I'm very, very happy for you, okay? If not, then I do recommend you to take care of that, because it's so much more everything positive to live a life without any weight on the shoulders or on the heart. I mean, feeling free, feeling happy, feeling healthy, feeling light and energized. This is so cool and so important. And as you will see, this technique is quite simple to use, to try, to give it a try on any particular situation. And even after a couple of trials, then you will be able to trigger that protocol spontaneously, and just thinking about it will help you regain this harmony of energy for so many things that you have lived or experienced that are stuck but ready to be released. That's very straightforward. So about memory, you have to understand that everything you remember here and now, in the way you remember it, is part of you here and now. It's not part of the past, because what is part of the past belongs to the past, and you precisely here and now, you are not in the past, you are here and now in the present. So what you remember here and now is part of you, and it's part of your energy field, of your intensity, of your way of thinking, behaving, saying, speaking, etc. The past is another occurrence of it, and that's also a reason why sometimes you may have noticed that some of your memories will change over time. You thought you remembered something in a specific way, and sometime later you remember it in a different way. Why that? Because you are a different person. According to what you live and how you change and how you evolve over time, your memories of things will change, because the way you perceive things will change. And you may have interpreted a certain sentence in a specific way. Something may have been hurting you at some point, but then in the future or in another part of your life, you feel different, you think different, and the same sentence was not hurtful at all because it was like a joke and you don't care. Okay, so based on who you are and how you are building your own energy field as a whole, your memories may change. So this is very important to consider here, because any memory that is not in harmony with the rest of you is creating a certain opposition, and thus it's draining you. You can go back to the first part, maximizing your energy thanks to the principle of harmony, to understand how this is actually draining you. This is so important on a daily basis, to maximize your energy, to feel good and to enjoy your life. So there is a specific way you waste your energy. I mean, there is so many opportunities every day for us to waste our energy, just to spread it through whatever we may live, and get tensed or stressed, or anything that keeps a memory cell stuck there with some of our attention or energy, as if we had to keep that in mind for any further notice. All of these things are draining us from our energy, and this is a waste of energy. There is also a perpetual error that I love to hear about some time ago, and it's a metaphor of the drilled barrel that you should avoid. Imagine that lots of people are just taking in supplements, okay, food supplements, and then they probably hope to feel better and to be in better health by feeding with food supplements. But then sometimes they just don't feel any better. They keep taking in those pills of supplements. And actually, the same way, if you have a barrel that is pierced, you may keep filling it up, but it will keep emptying if it's pierced, okay? This is the same for you. Even if you keep regaining energy or taking in food supplements, you will still lose your energy or lose your nutriments if you are just stuck in a field pattern that is pierced and losing your energy or your nutriments. So that's the same also for finance. Lots of people have the desire to have more money, but if they are stuck in behaviors and patterns that make them just spend their money all the time, they will just have more money to spend, but they will not have more money in their pocket. And this is something we could observe by accompanying people through our program called Santoro, which is specifically adapted to help people retrain their own behaviors and reharmonize their disharmonized patterns about money and spending money, or taking care of having more money and feeling financially safe. On my side, I could recover health and feel much better and stop supplements and everything else, and just sleeping well, eating well and feeling good by transforming myself and reprogramming my own behaviors and patterns about what was stuck in my energy fields and in my way of functioning. And I was blessed to have the opportunity to do it thanks to the program called Reprog through the Aline studies and works. So it's obvious that before, or at least at the same time of benefiting from this energetic memory reharmonization technique, you will want to become aware of your wasting behaviors and stop sowing your energy here and there on a daily basis, of course. Now, you will be able, by learning this technique, to use it first to reharmonize any memory of your past where you had left your energy, and secondly, to instantly reharmonize the new situation that you may encounter on a day-to-day basis. This is very interesting to regain energy and stop wasting it. About the technique itself, you will find in the PDF document going with this chronicle the detailed protocol and tips and lots of examples that I recommend you to consider. and I will explain it now in the video. Your goal using that technique is to neutralize the memory or the situation, which is to make it neutral. You want to no longer talk about it, or to feel okay whether you have to talk about it or not. And you want to feel perfectly in harmony with the memory or the situation. Even if someone else talks about it, you want to feel good, relax, and don't care, okay? Your objective will be to find the point of harmony, which is a particular point where you feel better and you feel the release from your attachment to the memory. And thus you will recover all of your energy that was trapped in there. A few tips in order to practice. I recommend you to practice on a first example that is quite simple and very specific. A real example of yours. Nothing approximate, nothing imagined, something very specific and simple to start with. Because the good point is that once you start on a very specific example, then your brain is able to extrapolate to any other situation much more easily. If you stay approximate, then it's not concrete enough for your brain to extrapolate. The same if you remain on examples that I could share with you, it's not concrete enough. So I do recommend you to practice straight away on a situation of yours, something concrete and real that you have experienced and that you have in your memory. What else? You may imagine as if someone or something has to left you, to disassociate from you. There is a transformation that will occur here. And so you want the old version of yourself to go away, to say goodbye. The other version of yourself that was thinking as you were thinking so far, you don't want that anymore. You want to open yourself to something new, to be someone new, renewed and re-energized, which means that something will have changed within you. And as if the part of you that had remained in opposition to this memory that was draining you will just left you. That's a good sign as well. If you feel like stretching or moving, yawning during the process, it's completely okay. It's part of the energy starting to recirculate. Then you will tell things. And it's really about telling with words everything, including what you feel, okay? How you felt during that memory. You want to tell it with words, to express it. You want to say everything, so to bring it into existence outside of you through the words. That's very important. And you will feel the difference while saying it. That's very important for you to listen to yourself, okay? You won't tell it to anyone, just yourself with yourself. And telling is very an important part of the technique. So the harmony point is a point that says okay in your heart, that feels good in your being, which allows to re-soothe your state of being. And it's very characteristic. When you find your point of harmony, it feels like an appeasement, a relief in your heart. And it may be either small or very profound, depending on the importance in your energy field of the impact that this particular memory was having. So it's pleasant for your soul when you find that point of harmony. If you allow yourself access, then it's instant. If you resist it, then you may turn around a few more moments before switching it on, or you may stop there for that particular memory if you feel that you can't go through it. Maybe you can keep going on the next day because you may have transformed part of the energy, and the next day you may feel different to deal with the rest. And feel free to start with what works for you, to start with the memories that that feel good through the process for you. And if there is any bigger issue or more challenging memory or situation that you feel you can't cope with on your own or directly, then leave them for later once you feel acclimatized to the technique, or just contact me to work on that more deeply, or to give so I can give you any suggestion maybe. All situations or memories are very interesting to work with because they can be stuck in a chain and you can't know which one is the most impactful. Even something tiny, something small may have an impact in your life with a ripple effect, and to be much more impactful than you could have ever imagined. So do not underestimate any specific memory or situation. Just go for it and release it. Use that technique. Practice a few times concretely, sitting down, being fully in the technique, and then boom, 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 instantly think about using that technique for any other memory that comes back to your mind. You will find the detailed protocol again in the PDF document, and then the idea is to sit comfortably with a few minutes in front of you without being disturbed, so you can focus and choose a memory or a situation on which you want to reharmonize your energy. And then we go. Step number 1, do not write it down. This is unusual from me, but very important for that particular technique. You don't want to write it down because you want the energy to be transformed. You want the information to transform, so you don't want to keep any data or to keep track of the past, okay? You want it to transform. You don't want to remember. You don't want the past. You don't want to keep it. You don't want to remember any negative feeling or being wrong or right whatsoever. You just want to release it and release any grudges and anything unpleasant. Step 2, you want to give it a neutral title. That's important, and that's the only thing that you will specify here to identify your memory in your memory database. This is interesting to have a specific title. And so you want it to be neutral. You don't want, for example, to speak about toothache if that was a bad memory. You will speak about your teeth, just neutral. If it was when you got dumped or you had to break up a situation, a relationship, you don't want to speak about the separation in itself. You may speak about being on the bench with so-and-so. Or leaving the apartment may be emotionally constrained, so you may speak about the comics in the library if this was part of the memory. You know, something light, but you want to give it a specific title to spot it on, you know, to specify it in your database. Step 3, you will close your eyes and tap on the 2 collarbone points simultaneously. The collarbone points are 1 inch below the hollow of the neck and 1 inch on the side, here, below the collarbones and above the other bone. And if you press it, then usually it is a bit painful, okay? So you don't want to press it too much, you just want to tap gently on those 2 points simultaneously while you will go through the protocol. And so by tapping gently here, not too firmly, just gently to feel a kind of impulse in your energy field. That's interesting. Step 4, you will visualize the scene in your head, okay? To welcome the energy. You want to connect to the memory and welcome the energy. So while tapping, you imagine the situation and you can say to yourself even, I choose to welcome this energy. And for the example, I choose to think about a situation when I was a child, maybe a few years old. I jumped on my bike for the first time without the security wheels. So that's where I was with my mom and a friend, and I visualize the scene in my head. Okay? Step number 5. Keep your eyes closed and continue tapping. Having your eyes closed is very interesting because it shuts down your visual system, which allows that part of your energy and attention to go inside and to focus on that energy liberation, which is at stake here. Step number 6. You will tell aloud what happened to you. That's very important. Nobody has to listen to you. You can just close the door, feel safe, and you can at least whisper to yourself, but loud enough so you can hear yourself through your ears. That's very important to make the energy circulate in all ways, okay? And allow different routes for the energy to recirculate. So you want to tell what happened in detail, including what you thought, what you felt, and everything. You want to express it. You want to tell it, even briefly, but tell everything from your experience, including what no one could have seen or known about the situation. Okay, you want to tell it all, absolutely all, especially what you may have never told, for example. And if you have cried a lot, for instance, you want to tell it the way it happened. And instead of just saying it coldly, you may want to tell your emotion, such as I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried and cried and cried some more and cried some more and cried some more. You know, you will tell it and tell the emotion the way you could feel it. So, on my side, I was then outside with my mom and a friend, and I jumped on my bike for the very first time. We had removed the security wheels, the little wheels on each side, so I could start running my bike as a grandchild. And I started and was excited to feel that it worked actually. And I was able to do it, and I got so excited, and I turned to my mom and my friend. I wanted to call them and to say, hey, can you see that? I can do it. But then probably turning my head, I probably turned the handlebars too, and then the bike started to wave on one side, on the other side, and more, and then suddenly I was on the ground. I fell down. I was just horrified and so sad and disappointed to have messed up that situation that was supposed to be a success and became a complete failure. So this was just not good to live an experience. And that's it. I don't remember what happened next. I was probably so disappointed of having messing it up. Okay, so then step number 7. Tell and become aware and bring the truth back to you. Here you will tell a second time, again, from the beginning and until the end, out loud, and still tapping the 2 collarbone points at the same time. You may welcome the possibility of new details that can come in, because some elements of your memory or your feeling may come back or already have changed, and that's fine. So again, I was outside with my mom and a friend, and for the very first time we had removed the security wheels on my bike. I was very excited to start for the first time in full autonomy to ride my bike and to start on my own. and I could feel it was working. I was feeling balanced, and I could move on my bike. I was so excited. I wanted to tell it to my mom and my friend, and I ensure she could and they could see me. And so I turned my head to my bike to call them and say, hey, look at me, I can do it. And while being turned on my bike, I probably turned the handlebars too, and my bike started to wave and move on the left, on the right, and I lost control and just fall down with the bike. And I was so sad and disappointed to have done just so bad, and having turned into a complete failure, a moment that was supposed to be a success. And I was very disappointed, and poor Aline on the ground, and blah blah blah. And I don't even know if I cried. Probably I cried a lot, and that was it. Okay, and then step number 8, you want to open the possibility of reharmonizing. You will tell a third time, from the beginning to the end, out loud, and still tapping the 2 collarbone points at the same time. But this time you want to open yourself to the possibility of reharmonizing. You want to reharmonize this memory or this situation. You don't want to stay stuck into who was wrong, who was right, what was good, what was bad. You just don't care about that. You want to reharmonize the memory. So you want to transform it. You want to allow yourself to connect to another possibility for that memory. And so you will tell it again, but with a specific intention here, which is, what could you have said or thought if being inspired by the greatest universal wisdom? What could you have said or thought being inspired by the greatest universal wisdom? That's very interesting, to open to the truth, to the whole universal wisdom that will help you see things from another point of view, through your own eyes, but with a different energy filter. And here you want to release your attachment. You want to recover your energy. You must at this stage find the harmony, the point of harmony. This point of harmony is a choice. It's a choice from you through the eyes of the universal wisdom. And you will choose a different ending for your memory. So, for instance, in my case, I was outside. I was going to try for the very first time to ride my bike without the security wheels. I was very excited of this big step in my life, getting more autonomy and feeling empowered. And then I jumped on my bike. My mom was there, my friend was there, and I started to ride the bike. And apparently everything was fine. I was doing well. I started to feel so excited about it. I turned to the back to see my mom and my friend and call them and tell them, well, can you see that? I'm going so well. This is so cool. And then I just messed it up and lost control of the bike, which started to wave on one side or on the other side, and again and again, and poof, I was on the ground, and I started to feel like a failure. But then if I start to think from the greatest wisdom point of view, I realized that instead of willing to call on the attention from others, I could have prefer to focus on my own feeling of satisfaction of being able to ride my bike without the security wheels in full autonomy, feeling empowered and enjoying that moment of power and empowerment, that feeling of empowerment, to be autonomous on my bike, on my own, to be free, to be powerful. And then later maybe to share that moment with my family and friends, and probably more able to do it because more attuned to the frequency of this empowerment of being okay riding my bike on my own. So that's the point of harmony for me here, okay? Feeling empowered instead of needing to share this with others right away. So step number 9, you can stop tapping and take a deep breath. If you kept tapping all along, that's probably a lot of energy. Now moving, feel free to move. To feel that energy moving, you can amplify the phenomenon by taking 3 deep breaths. And a longer one. And then you allow the energy to flow and to circulate and to change within you. You may feel different, you may think different. All of this is fine, and allow yourself to feel different because that's the target actually. And number 10, to close that protocol, you may write down your point of harmony. And that's the only thing you may write down, and that's interesting to do it, to keep track of your harmony point, because it locks it down, you know, it locks it in as reharmonized, which is good. In this reharmonized context, which you can describe in a few words, for instance, on my side, I could say, well, when I ran my bike for the first time on my own, feeling empowered, or on my own with my bike for the first time, or my first time on the bike without the security wheels. I choose, and then you put the choice of harmony that you've just identified. I choose to remember how empowering this was to feel free on my bike on my own and being able to do it. And so I do remember that now, having gone through that protocol, which is very powerful. So your goal is to achieve a release, relaxation, an energetic appeasement through this exercise. And you will feel at least a sigh, or at best a deep energy boost, a new momentum, a new way of thinking and feeling through your own eyes, which is so empowering as well. And please let yourself be surprised by the point of harmony that will appear to you through that exercise. If you do it sincerely, fully, if you tell everything about it the first time, the second time, then in the third time you will hear something different, you will feel something different, you will see things differently, and welcome this new way of experiencing that memory, because this is where your energy was stuck and you are regaining it, you are recovering from that past memory. So I included other examples in the PDF document to show you what could be different sorts of points of harmony depending on the situation, when you were a teenager, or a night out with friends, or watching a movie that was unpleasant to you, leaving you feelings of stress, or what else, a breakup in a relationship, and all of that. Remember, your objective is to change the remaining vibration of the memory within your own field today. It's not about the past, it's about you and how you feel today through that particular memory that is here with you, within you. So you don't care about being right or wrong, or keeping any grudges, or keeping you stuck if you don't want to forgive, etc. You just want to feel reharmonized. So it's not about others, it's about you with yourself, within yourself. You just want to find another version of remembering this memory so it can impact your field in the present moment in a better way, in a more energizing way. Imagine that every single day you've lived so far could be a boost of energy for you. If it's not, then it means something is not harmonious in your memory about those days. So that's where you can regain a lot of energy. So you just have to practice it once or a few times on very specific things, having time on your own gently, quietly, and then you may trigger it at will. Just thinking about the technique may release it. Based on observation, it may work that way. And that's something I wish you to experiment, because this is so cool. The other day I was supposed to have a meeting with a few people and the meeting was supposed to be okay, but I started to feel stressed about the meeting. And I thought, well, why am I stressed about that? I don't feel called to that meeting specifically, but I love them, I know it will be fine, and then why am I stressed about this? And then I remembered that it was about a few other meetings that had happened in the past, even years ago. And I was feeling stressed about those past meetings. And I thought, well, what about using the technique of energetic memory reharmonization? And then instantly I felt reharmonizing those memories and I felt a reboost of my energy. I felt better and smiling again, and that was very surprising to me, but I was feeling very better about this upcoming meeting. Relaxed and fine again. And so that's what I wish you to experiment too on your own. The world is changing. Are you? This is the idea. I wish you to work on yourself, not because you have to, but because you will enjoy it. You will enjoy doing it and you will enjoy the benefit of it. And if you want to move on with the world, you have to evolve with the world. Because else the world will start to feel uncomfortable to you, which is not the best. I wish you to feel good within your world and in your daily life. So remember, you can leave us your comments or share your questions or even share your experience of that technique. I will be very happy to read your comments or answer your questions or help you in any way I can in using that technique. Remember as well to benefit from the other parts of that particular series. There are 4 parts and all of them are very important to understand this as a whole about energy, harmony, memory, health, a state of being. And I wish you all the best, especially to live the best of your life.
This has been a presentation of the Aline Chronicle. Please find more information at www.aline.com.